What's going on, my friends? Welcome on over to week number 2 of the ARMS Territorial League. Last time out we had NA take the win over Japan, but this is still the early days. There is still plenty of action coming up, and today we're going to see if NA can make that 2 for 2 as they go up against the team of Europe. I am your girl, TK Layla, and I am coming to you live with something a little different. If you were expecting my face, this is my face. Get used to it. I hope you are all sitting very comfortably. This promises to be a high action-packed round of some good old ARMS content, and I hope you are looking forward to it. Welcome on in, everybody, into the chat. We were going to have ourselves a 5v5, but it seems like we're going to have to settle for a 4v4 action today, because I believe each team are missing a player, which is unfortunate. But that's okay. These things happen. These things happen. So, if you are just joining us, allow me to introduce to you the teams that will be taking part. On the side of NA, we got Twin 5-0, we got Power, Griffical, Sup, and Moonbeat. Again, if you were tuning in last time round, you'll have seen all 5 of these in action. I do believe I'm just waiting on confirmation to find out which player from each team will not be showing up for today, but I do not have that information yet. Once I have that, I will forward that over to you. On the side of Europe, we have the Revolutionary Riffer, the man who just does not know how to stop winning in the Challenge Cup. We got Grimwood, we got Yam, we got Arkrim, and we got Iceman 92. A lot of familiar names on both sides of the field. Plenty of experience from all 10 of our players, and you can bet your butt that we're going to see some amazing things from all of these players. Like I said, this is week number 2. So allow me to just bring you all back over here and just give you a little reminder as to what the rules are. So, 2 teams of 5 will face off in the arena setting, each having 2 lives. If you lose a life, well, you lose a life when you lose a match. It's as simple as that. If you lose both, you're out. And you will have to be immediately tagged out. When no one on one side has lives left, the set is over. Simple as that. The captain of each side can choose to change player, character, and arms after a loss, but this must be announced. The winning side, however, has to announce the changes first so that the losing side can at least try and combat something of what's going on. If a player has won 3 matches in a row, because I absolutely get the feeling someone's going to today, they have to immediately tag out. We are not going to have someone just go for the full wipe. That's just not how it's going to work here. It's not going to fly like that. Everybody has to at least have a little bit of time on stream today. The captains for Europe are Riffer and Grimwood. Both, I believe, will be with us. For America's side of the field, it is Twin 5 and Pada, who are the captain and vice captains. Unfortunately, they will be down. Their vice captain, as Pada will not be making it today. On Europe's side, it is Iceman who has no-showed. I'm not surprised. I guess the heat got to Iceman more than any of us. The stage list will be set to random. It is Spring Stadium, Ribbon Ring, Ninja College, Mausoleum, Ramen Bowl, Scrapyard, DNA Lab, Buster Beach, Sky Arena, hell yes, Viados, and Temple Grounds. This will all be on a randomizer. If a stage is placed, he's getting to my brain now, isn't it? If a stage has been fought on, it will be removed from the randomizer. However, there is a catch. If the gentleman's agreement comes out, and both parties would like to play on a specific stage, which isn't limited to the stages I've just named, then that stage will be played instead. And I guess that will then be omitted for the rest of the tournament as well, since I would assume that that is how it will go. So, what I'm basically trying to say is there is some hope that 2 players might be brave enough to pick name redacted. But let's be real, that's just not going to happen. If both players agree to it, that can happen, but for the most part, it will generally be the randomizer from those stages listed above. Each team has 2 override stage picks after a defeat, but only 2. And it can only be done after a defeat. It is not something that you can play out after you win a match, because that would just be silly. So, plenty of flexibility, plenty of things to be looking out for, and hopefully we have ourselves a pretty interesting set. So, we are just waiting on news as to what will be coming up next. And I do believe we are having word that Iceman has actually showed up, which For those of you who do not follow the EU Arms Challenge Cup, allow me to just quickly tell you right now that this is what Iceman does on a regular basis. Like, straight up, Iceman will wait until, like, the last few minutes of sign-ups, and then, boom! Iceman has signed up to the Challenge Cup. He does this on a regular basis. So, we here in the European scene are used to this by now. As regards to Pada, I do not know if Pada is here or not yet, so we're still waiting on what is going on. Both teams are currently in discussions. I feel like since Pada isn't here and Iceman was late, it should just be a 4v4, but once I get word from the producers behind the scenes, we can get this party started, which I think you're all looking forward to, aren't you? So whilst we wait for this, I am just going to say a little hello to those just lingering in chat. Atlas, welcome on in. Supporting NA. We'll see how they do. See if they can make it 2 for 2. Rifa, hello. Always nice to see you giving us all a good old hello. Heberite, one of our wonderful people behind the scenes. We are pretty much set and ready to go once we can get the players rolling on in. But yeah, we are pretty much set and ready to go once the matches can officially begin. At least it's one on both sides. At least it's one on both sides. At least that is the understanding. Yeah, let me just quickly double check just to make sure that we are good to be moving on. And also, hello to wherever you are in the world, wherever you are chilling on with us in the UK and European scene, wherever you're chilling over in America, just about waking up, or wherever you're staying up late over in Japan, which, let's face it, it's 1 a.m. over there, so, yeah, please take care of yourselves, okay? Like, this will be available. This will be available after the fact, so if you would like to watch it back, feel free to do so. And I believe we have our first match announced for our wonderful individuals. It will be twinned to go up against Yam. Should be plenty of fun. And they are just making their way into the chit-chat now, which is awesome. I say the chit-chat. I mean the party lobby. You know what I mean. Look at them all just sitting there and ready to go for your entertainment. Obviously, we got one of our producers in the back as well, just in case they don't have me at it. You know how these things work. So, with the fact that it is 4v4, I believe that means, 8 lives for both. I believe is what that means. If we are down a player each already, it means that instead of starting at 10-10, we will start at 8-8. If that is correct, we are just waiting, It is 10 versus 8. Okay. So, apparently, the entire team of Europe are in. Okay. Unfortunate to see a handicap from the get-go, but it looks like that is what it will be. It will be... So it'll be North America with 8 lives, 2 for each of their players, and Europe with 10. I mean, they did win. They did win against Japan last time out, so you never know. They may still yet be able to pull off the 2-point deficit. We will find out soon enough. And with that then, we are set and ready to go. Our first match of week 2 of the Territorial League is about to be on the way. Get that hype going in chat. Cheer on your favorites. And the randomizer will give us the information that we are looking for to decide which stage we'll be heading on off to. Why is NA handicapped? It is unfortunately because they are down a player. Everybody from Europe side is checked in and ready to go. Iceman left it dangerously late, but he was here. Pada, unfortunately, is not able to be here, which is why they are a player down, and as a result, 2 lives down. So, here we go then. Our first fight will be ready to go once both of our players have decided to go. We are just waiting for them to start up. The lobby is set and live, you can tell. It's nice and orange for you all. And the best part is that we've got plenty of news to talk about with ARMS during this entire stream. We're not just going to be focusing on what's happening here. We have our week 2 shenanigans. We've got some more spicy announcements for you, which, if you have not checked social media yet, don't. Because it'll ruin the surprise for you all. And it's a very good surprise at that. Oh. Yam is set and ready to go. We are just waiting on Twin to give us the go-ahead, and they can start their first matchup. I didn't see the order of which side came in which, so I will do my best to switch up the icons as best as I can to make sure that we are on the correct side. I listed it as North America on the left, Europe on the right, but we'll see if that actually sticks. We'll see. And I see a couple of thanks in the chat. Thank you very much for wanting to not only be here today, but for also taking part. Looking at you, Graphical, and thank you again, Atlas. I appreciate the thanks. Yeah, it feels like it's been a long time since I've commentated something that isn't the Challenge Cup. So. And Twind is Twind was allowing. I feel like Twind was stalling for time, which is, you know, it's fair. It's a Lola Pop Ditto to start ourselves off with. So let me see if I could just quickly switch these flags around. I should have just enough time to do so. Do not worry, it is not Europe. This is Europe. It is Europe versus America as our first matchup is set, live, and ready to go. It is Yam on the left-hand side of your screen representing Europe, coming in with the Triblast and the Scorpion. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side of your screen representing America, it is indeed Twin, coming in with the Bifla and the Ice Dragon. The Ice Dragon excelling at long range, and the Bifla not as heavy-hitting as the Fiery Hydra, but it can obstruct your vision for a little while. It's nice to have our good old Biff mascot on full display for you, but Twin is taking quite a beating so far against the horizontal bolts of Yam, and also that Scorpion, which has 2 different modes of attacking, sculling along the ground initially, and then throwing in as a little frisbee in the air. Note the Twin did manage to get the hit on Yam, but unfortunately couldn't take advantage of it, catching the pillar on the back end of things. The Dragon will come out again, but Yam does get the shield up. Unfortunately tagged by the Ice Dragon once again. Actually decides to go for the rush anyway. Catches Twin on the back foot and sends them into the corner. Twin does have rush available as well with 30 seconds left on the clock. Still plenty of time to be able to choose to opt in with that. They're going to have to take their time with this. But a long-range grab from Yami is going to actually, again, catch him on the back foot. It puts Twin into critical with 15 seconds left on the clock. And if Twin decides to go for it here with the Dragon, they'll have to land the rush, otherwise they will not get any purchase of it. And it looks like that is just not going to happen. They do get the grab, but it won't be enough damage to do anything else from there. And that will be that. Yam takes the initiative in this matchup. Europe starting as they mean to go on. We'll see if they can keep this up. And so, immediately a double block off the get-go. Twin is not going to be one to taking this lightly. They're going to stick with these same arms, to be fair. So too is Yam. And the obviously interesting thing to note about Lola, for those of you who are just joining on in, Lola is one of the more unique characters in the game in terms of shield. They can still move around with that. Yes, it's a bit more slower, but they will absolutely take that. The Biffler finally does run through Yam and take them down on the back. But yeah, again, just getting into that rhythm again. We've seen them improve time and time again throughout the past few weeks, and Twin is always a force to be reckoned with. Another solid Biffler hit. Starting to bring this match back. Very much even Stevens on the health, but again, another grab from Yam, and some of our European players are very prone to doing that. They will not be afraid to swing out the grabs, even when you feel like it's just not advantageous for them. They'll sometimes get them off anyway, and yeah, we did have a player who used to do that quite often and keep everybody on their toes. But that was the dent. This is the here and the now. Yeah, I'm just about shimmying away from that, and Twin is going to have none of that grab attempt. Shuts it down with a high-powered 345 rush. And Yam, again, inflates straight up, tries to go for the grab, but Twin finally is on the same field and gets a grab of their own. Yam has 20 seconds to find a way of bringing this back. Twin still just above the halfway mark, and well, does get poisoned and shoved into the corner, and Yam might actually try and go for this. The grab is not going to connect. The rush is going to connect, and this is came from nowhere. It's a KO for Yam. Yam is going to take a life off of the board against America. It looked like Twin was finally going to take that and take it into match number 3, but it's not going to happen. It is going to be America dropping down a life in the early stages. A very good matchup. You felt like Twin was going to finally get that and take that momentum, but that is just how quick it turns, and we've seen it time and time again, not just here, but in other tournaments as well in ARMS, where it's just consistently coming at you. The comebacks can happen at any point. And that is how you start a match. Yam will take out Twin by 2 points to 0 to give America their first loss of the stream today. But obviously, this is just the first match, so there is still going to be plenty more coming up for you. And as we just head on back over here, hello, your lovely little beat. Hopefully you enjoyed the first matchup. There is plenty more here to come. But yeah, very nicely done. Twins started to get that rhythm back, as you saw towards the end of that match. Managed to nail the rush. The rush with the dragon does score a hell of a lot of damage. 345 put them in the driver's seat. And they were starting to get wise to the grab attempts, coming in with their own grabs and really leveling that playing field. But massive shouts to Yam. They didn't want to take it to a third match. They wanted to shoot it down. They went for the risk. They got it. They felt like Twin was starting to waver a little bit, and the rush was solid and true. So really good performances from both of these players, showing how evenly matched both regions are. And this is just the first match. Obviously, anything can still change, but it does mean that it is going to be 10-7 is now going to be the score, and America are going to have it all to do. So the announcements now will start to fling out. Again, as a reminder to you all, the way it will work is that the winners will announce if they are changing up anything first. That includes character, that includes player, that includes the arms loadout, and it also includes if they say they're changing nothing. Like, if there are no changes, they still have to announce that. So, we'll see how that goes. So, essentially, in order, it will go. The winning team will announce what's changing, if anything. The losing team will then announce the same thing, but also will announce if they want to pick a stage specifically. Remember that they have two overraids. Pronunciations. You gotta love it. They have 2 stage overrides that they can do, unless the Gentleman's Claw comes up where both players agree to a specific stage, which, you know, it's a rarity these days, but you never know. To be fair, it really only happens when you have players like Slacks come in, and Slacks will be like, "Hey, do you want to play Snake Park?" and most of the time you'll have people be like, "Are you out of your mind?" No, but every now and then you'll have that odd person who immediately goes, "Sure, why not?" And it just goes out the window. We are going to have Iceman join us on in, and we're going to just quickly emit Temple Grounds. So yeah, Iceman will now join the field as we head back on in towards our lobby. And I believe with a substitute happening, Twind is staying in. However, Iceman is going to take Yam's place. So we are going to switch these two around. I am on top of things. I've got everything pretty much set up so I can quickly switch these flags around because this is what we do here. And yeah, we are all set and ready to go. So, matchup is on the way. It will be Twin staying on in. Iceman is switching on in for Yam. And we're going to see if Iceman can keep Europe in the lead and fully knock Twin out in the early stages. Twin on the left-hand side of your screen comes in with the Biffler and the Ice Dragon again. Meanwhile, Iceman is going to immediately take full use of the bouncy outskirts at his Spring Stadium with the Ribbon Girl coming in with the Toaster and the Seeky. But at least scores a Biffler for the trouble, which to be fair, the vertical bolts are, well, certainly not appreciated by Ribbon Girl in the slightest. Ribbon Girl likes to be in the air and get a whole lot of dash movements going, a whole lot of double jumps, and the vertical prongs make it a little bit more troubling for them to do that. As you can see, Iceman just keeps dashing into the side of them at the moment. Really putting them on the back foot. The Seeky, big time explosive missile. It is fully automated, unlike pretty much all the other gloves in this game. It is a fully automated arm. And Iceman is already into critical in the early stages, and Twin is putting on so much pressure at this stage. Iceman is going to have to do quite the number to come back into this. Any hit at this stage is going to put Iceman 1 point down, and that is exactly what is going to happen. So Twin, much more comfortable with this matchup, much more comfortable in this stage. And they take the initiative. Can they hang on to it as Iceman comes in with the Tri-Blast? Gonna try and bring some horizontal goodness, but immediately again gets caught with the Biffler in two back-to-back hits. Make that almost free, but once the ice does come out, Twin does get knocked down as well. And Iceman is very much struggling against Twin's Lola here. Finally does get another missile through, but again, look at all the damage already done onto Iceman. Pretty much past the halfway mark already. Twin is holding their nerve, not wanting to bounce out anytime soon. No pun intended. Iceman on the cusp of critical, and Twin is just making beautiful use of all of their accuracy. Another grab gonna throw Iceman down, and Twin has barely broken a sweat in this matchup. Iceman trying everything in their power to take Twin out, but it's not happening at the moment. Another Tri-Plus hit does put Twin on the back foot, but again, it only needs to hit one more, but this is going to be big time damage. Look at it juggle, 390. It puts Twin into critical, but unfortunately the Dragon is going to pierce straight through the heart. And just like in the previous match where we saw a potential comeback on the horizon, it's very much shut down, and it's going to be Europe who'll lose out a life this time around. Iceman gets taken out by 2 points to 0. So, interesting to see that it goes both ways. It will go both ways on this side of the field. So, no clean sheets for either side. Both teams do suffer a loss in the early stages. And it means that we're going to boot up this randomizer and kick Spring Stadium immediately off of it. How quickly things can change. Twins coffee about to kick in. It really did seem like it. Twin was incredibly more comfortable in this matchup than they were against Yam. But then again, when it's a character ditto, you literally cannot predict where it's going to go. And that was wonderful there. So, it means both teams have suffered a loss of life. We now have the standings at Europe 9, America 7. Twin suffered a loss, but immediately bounces one back to take Iceman out of the equation for the time being. We are going to find out what the order of things is going to be now, because obviously America, having won that matchup, will now have to be the ones to decide what they want to do first. Remember, they have plenty of players in that back pocket as a reminder to you all as to who is on which side. Twin does lead the way. Power is not in this matchup, unfortunately, because they are not able to be here. Grifficle, Serp, and Moonbeat are there as substitutes if they do want to come on in to represent NA, but we will see what Twin decides to do. On the side of Europe, do remember that we have seen Yam and Iceman so far. We have not seen either of the captains, Riffer and Grimwood. And we haven't seen Okum yet either, who is also on there as a substitute as well, if they are needed. So, plenty of big names between the two teams. And, well, there's, again, a lot of different characters up for grabs as well. So, we're going to be keeping a very close eye on what is going to be happening here, and we have confirmation. We do indeed have confirmation that there is going to be a switch up. NA are having a substitute. Twin is going to take a step back, and in will come Moonbeat. Moonbeat will take Twin's place to represent NA. Now, I am not going to start switching things around until we find out what Europe are going to be doing. But as of right now, Moonbeat is stepping on in for NA. In they come. You will love to see it. Iceman, meanwhile, still waiting to see what they will choose to do here, Europe. Iceman could get substituted out. Bearing in mind, Iceman also the current holder of the Challenge Cup, having won it last time out. I believe it is Riffer who won the Invitational. So you know they are heavy hitters in their own regards. But yeah, it is just waiting on to see what Europe are going to bring to the table here. All of this is going on in our Discord channel. And again, shout out to everybody behind the scenes, Matthias and Hibberot. Without the pair of them, this wouldn't be happening. And a massive shout out to them for even asking me if I wanted to come in for commentary today, because, yeah, it's been fun. It's nice to get shout outs like that, so massively appreciate that. If you're wondering why the heavy breathing every now and again, it's just on the basis of that it is a small room that I'm casting from, and it is... oh boy, it's warm. It's warm. So, please be taking good care of yourself, and if you aren't doing so already, please stay hydrated. So that we can stay fine and fit, and fine and fresh, for as long as physically possible. So, whilst our two teams decide, hopefully you are all doing okay, whilst they are deciding, I do have a, I do have an announcement to make. Speaking of the Challenge Cup is scheduled for Sunday, which is tomorrow, 3 p.m. CEST. This is one of our first of two announcements that I will be making on stream today. I will announce the second one a little bit later on, but this will be live over at twitch.tv/EU_ARMS. It will be the 77th installment of the Challenge Cup. Will Iceman retain it? Will River take it back? Will we have a brand new winner? Well, you'll have to find out tomorrow at 3 p.m. CEST for the latest edition, as we have our own invitational system going off after that. It's the second week in the brand new season, so all still to play for in the early stages. And we do have our announcement. Iceman will be staying in. Iceman will be staying on in with this matchup, so it will mean that I will need to switch out the teams again, because it means that with Iceman staying on in, they will be on the left-hand side of your screen. So the flags will need to be switched around again, which is absolutely fine. No problem at all. That is literally what I'm here to do. It also means you could probably hear me clicking. Clickety-click. That's just PC things in a nutshell for you. So, Europe will be on the left-hand side of the screen, represented by Iceman once again. Moonbeat will be on the right-hand side of your screen, representing NA. And we are going to have Ribbon Girl go up against Twintel as we head on over to Viados. You can see the arms loadout for Iceman is pretty much still the same. The Seiki is there with that Tri-Blast. The Toaster has been switched it out for a nade. Meanwhile, Twintel coming on in with the Phoenix and the Chiller. So more of the chill gameplay approach. Viadol's a bit more of a complicated stage. A lot of twists and turns. You do not want to be stuck in either of those corners. And you can see exactly why in the early stages, Iceman just quickly flinging the missile out every single time they have an opportunity to do so, because, you know, it just does a whole lot of damage. The chill did come down, but, well, Moonbear wasn't able to take full advantage of that. In fact, just trying to get into the middle area and now try to put the pressure back onto Iceman, who is coming out with the nade. It's interesting that, oh no, big time electrical explosion. That's going to be damage, 240. Thankfully, the second juggle didn't happen, but look at how much damage has already been dished out via the rush combination of the nade and the Seiki, and that will surely be first point for Iceman on the board. And that, wow, Iceman recovering beautifully from that first defeat against Twin, immediately puts the pressure straight back onto NA. And it's going to be a potential think around the, we didn't really get to talk about the Phoenix that much, one of a good curved utility in the game. It's now been switched out for the Tri-Blast. And to be fair, you kind of need that extra coverage against a very agile character like Ribbon Girl. But yeah, it's funny to note that Iceman is using a fully automated arm in the form of the Seiki and a fully unguided arm in the form of the nade. The nade and the roasters are the two only gloves in this game that require full manual aiming, so you have to be incredibly precise with that glove. And yeah, the explosive punch that it packs, combined with that electrical explosion of the Seiki, really rinsed down Moonbeat's health in that previous matchup. Iceman just going to quickly jump over one of the explosions from the Tri-Blast, but they're not able to be as consistent as they were in the previous one. They were hitting a good number of punches with the Chiller, but it is not happening in the early stages of this. To be fair, it's a very even-Steven match, but Iceman again is going to catch them with the explosion, and look how quickly it rinses through the health. 490 damage into a wake-up Seiki hit as well. And just like that, Moonbeat is on the cusp of critical. Iceman with pretty much a full health bar, hasn't dipped underneath 75% yet, and there's only 30 seconds left on the clock for Moonbeat to do anything with that. Another shock into a grab. That is pretty much going to all but do it here. Moonbeat will come in with the rush and pop themselves some damage on the board. It takes Iceman to half. This is not over yet, but Iceman has the rush advantage, and they know full well that Moonbeat has to be aggressive here. Otherwise, it's over, and it's not going to happen for them. It is going to be another 2-0 in a row, but this time it goes Europe's way. It is 2-0 to Iceman. It is 9-6. to Europe. So far we have ourselves a bit of a trend here. And by that I mean Yam took out Twind. Twind won their follow-up match, beating Iceman. Iceman wins their follow-up match, beating Moonbeat. It's a little interesting, not gonna lie. It's quite spicy to see all of that play out, but yeah, winning on Via as well. It means that Europe extend their lead again. That first win seems to be all important at this stage. And it's going to be 9-6 in Europe's favour. Moonbeat has lost themselves a life. So it's just getting more and more spicy the longer on we go here. And I'm not going to lie, it looks like we're going to have ourselves a switch up. It is Iceman who has dropped out. Europe has to announce their changes first. And Iceman will be dropping out. Which does seem to be the way to go. The way it's been playing so far. You want to try and keep that lead extended for as long as you can. But neither team have managed to do back-to-back wins so far. Europe won, then America won, then Europe won. So we'll see if that pattern continues going into match number 4. Again, we're waiting to see what the announcement will be for Europe's side. Iceman is coming on out, but will it be Yam who takes their place, or will it be somebody else? Like I said, we haven't seen Riffa, we haven't seen Grimwood, and we haven't seen Arkham yet. 3 characters who have not been announced, and here we go now. It is Grimwood who is coming on in. One of the captains finally makes an appearance on the Europe side, and it is going to be Grimwood who joins the fray. We will see if Moonbeat decides to stay in or if they're going to be swapped out. Being a bit of a mix-up so far between the two, and I just need to quickly boot up the randomizer so I can take out Viados. So far, neither side have fully agreed on a gentleman's claw pick, and also, so far both teams have not chosen to use their stage overrides. So we'll see if either of these two teams want to use them. Remember that they are there if they want to use them. That's the key words there. They may use them. Some people will just fully play with the randomized list and just go with what they get. And you know what? I'm all for that. Okay, so whilst the Discord is chit-chatting amongst themselves, again, I'm just going to quickly say a nice little hello to those of you who are in the chat. And Grimwood almost immediately trying to ready on up. Waiting for confirmation to see. And we are having a double switch, so both teams are opting for a tag out. Moonbeat will be hopping on out. Serp will be joining the fray, so it will be a fresh matchup. 2 individuals who have not been involved so far today will be stepping up onto the field. So Moonbeat will be tagging out and Serp will take their place. If you are just joining us here, Europe currently lead by 9 lives to 6. Unfortunately, because of the fact that Pada was not able to make it, they have had to drop out, which meant America started with 2 lives lost right from the get-go. You hate to see it happen, but that is just the way it goes sometimes. Twin suffered the first loss. Iceman was then beaten by Twin. And then Iceman got their revenge by taking out Moonbeat. So we have 3 players on 1 life left. Iceman on the Europe side, Twinned and Moonbeat on America's side. And it looks like we are set and ready to go for our next matchup. Both teams opting for a tag out, so I don't need to change any flags this time round. You love to see it. Grimwood will be on the left-hand side of your screen, coming in as Kid Cobra. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side of your screen, it will be Serp, coming in with the Maximum Brass. As we head on over to Mausoleum, the clapback and the popper being teased and being readied on up. Meanwhile, Serp will bring in the Chakram and the Tribolt. Double stuns for the Max Brass, which is very scary and not what Kid Cobra wants to be running into. They've got the popper, but unfortunately, Serp is playing incredibly aggressive. Grimwood finally gets themselves a grab back onto their side of the field, but boy howdy, Serp was not holding back with those stunned artillery. Grimwood has to get themselves a bit of a breather here because as is the early stages, Serp is just railing on in these combinations. Grimwood finally does get themselves another grab in the bag, but Serp already at the halfway mark. And making these stunned arms work beautifully again, covers a lot of ground, and also helps the fact that Grimwood does have the clapback. The clapback just literally recalls the arms right back at you, but it also means that an arm like the Shotgun can get around it quite easily. And it's going to be the Brass who takes the first point away in this matchup. Going straight into the next match, nobody wants to switch, so Grimwood is still relying on that Papa to try and go all the way forward, but it's not going to happen at the moment. Remember, the Papa is one of the lightest arms in the game. It's quick, yes, but it can be punched through by literally anything. And Grimwood is going to get completely railed. 270 damage. Again, another quick knockdown from Serp, who is playing such an aggressive Brass. A near perfect. Another 2-0 victory, and that was just confidence oozing from the Max Brass. And here's going to be the Muscle Man taking that point away. And Europe will concede themselves another life. So 2 for 2. It really is trade after trade between these two. As Serp beats Grimwood by 2 points to 0. No match so far has gone to a third point. Would you believe it? Wow, that was as quick. That was probably one of the quickest matches we've seen tonight so far. That was... Holy heck, Serp. Grim screaming and reach... I mean... That was incredibly quick. That was just... Whew. I think we all felt that one. I think we all felt that one for sure. So, what will be the announcement here? You feel like after a performance like that, Serp will probably just stay in. Like, I would not be surprised if Serp decides, you know what? I think I'm good here for a while. But we'll see. They are the winning side, so they will choose what they want to do first. Holy heck, that was just... That was pretty unbelievable, not gonna lie. But we'll see how this plays out next. So both sides have lost 2 lives each. America having lost an additional 2 by default, but that's the handicap rule for you, I'm afraid. It means that both sides have 2 players on 1 life each. Again, for Europe's side, the players we have not seen so far have been Riffer and Okrim and Griffical. There is going to be a substitute for NA. Okay. Oh, I honestly thought that with how Serp just was, you felt that Serp would immediately come straight back in, but no. Serp has decided to tag out, and it will be Griffical who will take their place. And it looks like they're going to come in with the Master Mummy. Oh boy. Master Mummy will be slightly annoyed that they were not able to play on their own stage. But, you know, these things happen. We are now waiting on an announcement from the European side of the field. Will Grim choose to stay in? And bearing in mind, if Grim does decide to stay in, they will be a danger of dropping on out here. We've had Twinned and Ice roll the dice with that earlier, and it paid off for them. It paid off for the pair of them. So we will soon find out if Grimwood wants to roll the dice as well, or if we want to see another substitute coming our way. America are doing incredibly well to keep this at a 2-point gap. But they want to close that in. They want to still win this out, even with a player down. And the way they're going, they could do that. But so far the pattern has been Europe wins one, America wins one, Europe wins one, America wins one. So it's hard to tell what the next plan is going to be. It's almost like a game of tennis. Like, you're waiting for one side to break the choice. Because so far it's been like the winner has picked and the losing side have been able to take advantage of the decision. So it's an interesting predicament to find ourselves in at the moment. Europe will feel like they're in a good position because they got that first win and they can keep themselves at the same pace. America will start to feel like they are starting to rack this up a little bit. They're starting to finally add up these points. Europe are taking their sweet time to get back in touch. So whilst we wait, remember how I told you that, oh no, never mind, no, the second I decide to even think about doing the second announcement, Riffa decides to shut me up immediately. The revolutionary Riffa himself will be going in, so the man who just doesn't know how to stop winning at the moment will be going up into this room to take on Griffical. Interesting. These two players have done it all, time and time and time again. It's Sky Arena. It had to be Sky Arena for these two. These two have done so much in this game. Oh, it is the other way around. Okay, my bad. That is 100% my bad. Okay, I thought it was the, I thought I wasn't going to have to switch the flags, but I am going to have to switch the flags. But that is absolutely fine. It is Griffical on the left-hand side of your screen coming in as Master Mummy. Meanwhile, Missango for Riffa is the Megawatt, and the big ol' buff is going to go up against the very speedy, the Cracker, the fiery version of the Popper, and that Coolerang as well. But big time slam dunk of a 205, and that's what Griffical will be putting a lot of dice into on week on the left hand side, and fully broken as well, trying to go over a bit of the heal on the Master Mummy, but not having any of it is Riffa, who has the yellow mask up and ready to go. It means they will win out all rush exchanges if it decides to go through. Griffical in a lot of danger already. Both arms incredibly weak, and Riffa knows it, goes in for the rush. Will this be a KO? It is a KO. And this is why Riffa has won the Challenge Cup so many times beforehand, putting that experience in to good measure, and starts with that initial point. But Griffical is going to come in with both of those big old boxing gloves, non-elemental, but they will still pack a punch, and Riffa fully knows it, using the turtle to try and deflect a little bit of damage. But it is going to be another big time grab for Griffical, who takes center stage and is aiming to keep Riffa on the outskirts where possible. Another big time grab, gonna crunch Riffa's bones right down, and the Cracker finally gives Riffa a bit of breathing space, but Griffical is not going to be easing up anytime soon. They want to take this to match 3, and Riffa, knowing full well that it will be the first match to do so if that does happen, cannot afford to take another hit. Griffical has the full advantage. He tried to go for the grab, didn't reach it. Riffa just struggling to get onto the platform. Finally does, but immediately takes the hit. And for the first match today, we are going to see point number 3 all to play for. And Riffa, thinking about bringing in the Seiki, does bring in the Seiki, and immediately hops off the center stage, brings in the yellow mask, and Griffical now knows trying to go for a rush may not be the best move in the world. Riffa just unfortunately couldn't get the charge up on the Cracker, and as a result, What did hit was not able to knock Grifficle down. Heavyweight counts, and every single time Riffa goes for the jump, they immediately pin down, goes for the rush, gets the rush! 340 damage, the second juggle did not get anything from that. And the second missile hit is going to get shut on down, so Riffa back onto the outskirts, not where they want to be, and cannot do anything. And this is the problem against a character like Master Mummy. The rush is going to come through, and there is the break point. Riffa goes down 2 points to 1 in Grifficle's favor, and it is Europe who are going to lose their lead bit by bit by bit. Well, well, how quickly it can all turn around, and that's what America have been knocking on the door of. And Grifficle is gonna take that point away. So, suddenly, it blows this competition wide open. You could see what Riffa was going there with Masango, trying to rinse through the match, trying to get the yellow masks to not only put a little bit of fear on Grifficle, but to also keep on going and hopping straight on in to the center stage. But every time they tried to jump for it, at a heavyweight character like Master Mummy, easily one of the biggest characters in this game, just did not allow them to get back onto the stage. Every time Riffa tried to go for the jump, immediately taken out of the equation. Riffa had a lot more control in that first match. From the second match onwards, Grifficle kept center stage and did not allow them to come back out in the slightest. And unfortunately, despite that rush hitting, couldn't get the second juggle, which was unfortunate. Master Mummy was quite far away at that point. But yeah. So yeah, what that means is that there was the break that America were looking for. So, it has been 2-0 in Europe's favour, 2-0 in America's favour, 2-0 in Europe's favour, 2-0 in America's favour, and then a 2-1. So what started off as 10-8 in Europe's favour is now 7-6 in Europe's favour. And NA are knocking on the door at tying this up, despite being a player down, which is unbelievable. Like, you feared the worst for them right at the start, but as I said, it's a long way to go. Anything can change after the first match, and it absolutely has. Grifficle will be staying on in. Now, I guess the question is, will Riffa choose to do the same? No, is the answer. Riffa has switched on out. Sky Arena has came up. I do love seeing Sky Arena. It does make my heart go ducky ducky. I do love that stage. I also love the theme for that stage. Let's also be real. But yeah, Riffa, the second Grifficle announced that they were staying in, Riffa immediately backed out. So well, I did see Riffa go out, but there's no announcements in Discord to say that Riffa has announced the switch out. So, what's going on here? What are we waiting on? Like, in my head, it's like the second I see Riffa duck out of the lobby, I immediately assume that Europe is having a bit of a change, but okay, it is a double whammy. Europe will be using the first of their stage overrides, along with the fact that they're doing a substitute as well. Iceman will be coming into the fray. So Iceman will be rolling the dice. With Grifficle staying on in, they still have 2 lives. Oh. There we go. I was gonna say, I like immediately was like, okay, this gun has been going on. I understand what's going on, but you know, sometimes it's a little clarification does help. But that's absolutely fine. So yeah, it will be Grifficle staying on it. It will be Iceman stepping up to the plate. Iceman has to win, remember, otherwise they are out at this stage. They only have the 1 life left, as they lost that when they fell to Twin earlier on in the day. So, we will be having ourselves Iceman going up against Grifficle. I don't think I need to be switching anything this time around, but I guess the question is, what stage will it be? Stages that we have not yet seen on the randomizer. And I need to actually make a note of this to make absolutely sure that I don't lose track of this. Ninja, Ribbon, Ninja, Ramen, Scrap, Buster, and DNA are the stages that have not come up yet. And in fact, we are going to see Ribbon Ring make an appearance immediately. That will be the stage of choice. Iceman and Team Europe will be taking us to Ribbon Ring. Iceman has to win this, or they are out of this competition. Well, they are out of the stream for today, and America will tie this match up at 6 apiece. Grifficle on the left-hand side of your screen, Master Mummy, Megawatt, and that big old buff in hand. Iceman, meanwhile, with the Ribbon Girl, with the Seiki, and of course that Toaster. Again, kind of have to go with both of those kind of ARM setups, since that is really going to be the only thing that's going to affect Master Mummy. The Toaster will just knock them down outright. The Seiki will give them a chance to grab and maybe rush punish, as well as we saw Riffa do in the previous matchup. That Megawatt, the slowest slam in the game, but it still does pack an awful punch, and also the second you throw anything at that, it just hits it, and the Megawatt laughs in its face and just keeps on its merry way. The blocks in Ribbon Ring are going to come on out. Will the grab reach? The grab does reach for Ribbon Girl. And that is quickly going to be a shock into a grab confirmation. Staying in the air, utilizing the blocks as well in Ribbon Ring, so Iceman can keep that height advantage where possible. But there's the odd hard block in there every now and then, which will just immediately just dead stop an arm. Everything else can be punched through normally, but gets that little extra thing to fight around. And Grifficle so far just underneath the health here with 30 seconds to go. Does manage to get a big time hit, was exactly what they were looking for. Iceman just trying to bait out anything from Grifficle. They've got to rush back up, ready to go as well. But Master Mummy utilizing the shield heal ability. Both activated the rush at the same time. Both hit each other at the same time. And it's going to be Grifficle who gets the advantage out of all of that. And Iceman is in a lot of trouble here. Gets the Seiki hit. Gets the grab. Will that take it back into their advantage? It is back into their advantage. They'll get the grab to seal the deal. And Iceman can breathe a sigh of relief. The match is not over yet, but boy howdy, Iceman needed that point. That's exactly what they grabbed. So, is it going to be the same decision? No, it won't be the same decision. But double non-elemental punching glove time for Grifficle, who gets immediately caught by the Seiki. Thankfully, Iceman was far enough away for them to not pick up an advantage on that. But another quick little toaster hit for Grifficle is going to put themselves at the health deficit in the early stages. It can all very quickly change, but that's going to be another Seiki hit. And the toaster makes it just in the nick of time to take Grifficle out of it. And a grab as well. Iceman being the opposite of Ice right now. They are on absolute fire here. It goes for another Seiki. It is going to hit the block this time around. And I don't think Iceman's been hit at all yet in this second point. Now they finally have the glove, finds its way through. But so much damage already done from Iceman's point of view. They've got 50 seconds to get themselves right into the thick of things. 250 damage. Make that 410. It KOs at the halfway mark. That is 2-0 to Iceman. Rolling the dice was the way to go, and the stage override worked perfectly for them. It is a Europe 7, North America 5. Good showing from Iceman there, taking Grifficle down a peg after that amazing showing from them against Riffa. wonderful matchup so far across all of it, but it is going to be Iceman and Europe's favour for that one this time around. How quickly it could change. How quickly it could all change. And remember, still plenty of matchups still to come, especially with it being balanced so precariously right now. America are slowly starting to run out of lives here. Europe finally back up to that 2-point advantage where they started this entire series off at. They've got a couple people with a double lives on the back foot, and because Ribbon Ring specifically was called out, we are going to omit Ribbon Ring from the randomizer list. So Ninja College will now be put back on. So too is Ramen. So too is Scrapyard, Buster Beach, and DNA Labs. We have 5 stages yet to be played on, both for randomizers and the stage override. Remember, there is a clause in there that says that we can see a stage outside of those that hasn't already been played yet, if both parties agree to do so. Like I said, that is generally a rarity in tournament settings, but it can happen. But mostly if your name is Slacks. There's a reputation there for a reason. So, both parties now need to be very careful here. We haven't had any casualties so far. Everyone is still competing here to the best of their abilities. But a lot of people are going to have to be rolling the dice right now. A lot of them are on 1 life. Like Riffer is on just 1 life remaining. So too is Iceman. Like, I can read you through the list right now. Twinned, Ice, Moonbeat, Grimwood, Riffer, and Grifficle are all on 1 life remaining. Yam still has 2. Serp still has 2. And I believe we haven't even seen Arkrim yet, so Arkrim still has 2. So this is what I mean. There is still a player in the back for Europe who hasn't even fought yet. So and no sooner have I said that. No sooner have I said that. There it is. There is the call. Arkrim will be going in. Arkrim will make their first appearance. In fact, both players seem to be a substitute here. Both players seem to be doing a tag. Arkrim will be stepping on in for Europe. Who is going to be stepping on in for NA? Because this is a dangerous position that they find themselves in. Literally everybody on NA, bar Serp, have 1 life left. And it is going to be Serp. It is Serp who will step on in. So, okay then. It's as simple as that. One of these 2 teams are going to be entering the second half of this series with a 2 life advantage. It's as simple as that. It's gonna be an interesting matchup between these 2. We haven't seen Arkrim take part yet. They are now going to be doing so. Europe will be on the left-hand side of your screen as Arkrim was the first to enter the lobby. And it'll be America switching to the right-hand side of the screen. Serp is set and ready to go. And it is going to be maximum brass for days. It is a brass ditto on Scrapyard. Arkrim against Serp. Listen, it is a 4-letter word. Scrim is S-C. No, it's a 5-letter word. brain hot, overheating massively. Arkham on the left-hand side of your screen. And look at the gloves. Is this a full-on mirror? I think this is a full-on mirror. Double toasters for the pair of them. And it's Serp who starts off with the big-time hits, going in with the grab, and Arkham is just being completely pinned into the corner, jumps into another grab, and Serp is operating on a completely different level. Holy heck, what am I looking at here? Arkham finally goes into the buff critical portion of their toolkit, but goodness me, Serp rinsed through so much. So much health was immediately destroyed, and Serp is just... That is an unbelievable start from NA. Finally, another 1-2 hit at least brings them down. But look at the health deficit that Arkham has to fight through here. The two pillars in the middle of Scrapyard are supposed to be an annoyance, but really, it's just complete domination for Serp. You felt like a perfect was coming, but it did not. Goodness me. And it looks like both sides are going to opt for the same toolkit. Both running double toasters here again, and Serp, well, if they can start off like they did last time round, they're going to be laughing here. Another quick little double hit, and Arkham's going to go straight for it, not messing around. 300 damage with the rush at least gives them a chance. But Serp, well, we've seen how comfortable they have been in both of their matches so far. They may be down at the moment, but they will easily bring this back, and Serp just plays such an aggressive brass. And that is going to be a rush right through the grab, taking full advantage. 290 onto the side of Arkham, who pokes back down the halfway mark on the cusp of critical as well. And Serp will send them into critical. That will be perma buff state. Both tries to go for the grab, but the pillar says no anyway. Arm weak on the right-hand side for Serp, but that is really the least of their worries, because that is another solid hit. One more hit from anything, but the grab will connect for Arkham, not for Serp, but Serp is right on the cusp of that rush. And look at how aggressive Arkham has suddenly decided to start playing grab, but is going to be denied by the rush. A little bit too much of an overcommitment, and Serp is looking like the final boss in this matchup. Completely takes down another life from Europe. Beautifully done, and Serp makes that 2 for 2. Goodness me, that was... Whew. Some spicy shenanigans all the way through there. And Serp was not messing around. They did not want to be conceding anymore. And it does look like Serp is just the go-to for NA right now. That is just... Goodness me, what more can you say? That was just... That first point. I mean, the second point was a lot closer. Arkham was able to come back into it a little bit more consistently. Started with that rush. Lost a bit more momentum in that right after that. Ended on quite the high, it must be said. They were really starting to notch up some really good time grabs, but unfortunately, the rush was set and ready to go for Serp, and Serp knew full well that they were going to rush straight into the rest of that. So, yeah. Nothing that could be done there. And it is going to be a substitute for Europe. It's going to be Grimwood who comes on in. Now, bearing in mind that Grimwood lost to Serp earlier, so it's a brave decision. As we are going to see Scrapyard omitted. The 4 stages remaining, by the way. I should probably point out. Ninja College, Ramen Ball, Buster Beach, and DNA Labs. They are the 4 stages currently remaining. As we await Grimwood to join us again. So Grimwood will be on the right-hand side of your screen for Europe in this matchup. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side of your screen, it will be Serp once again. No changes whatsoever, although are you surprised to hear that? Serp has been incredibly dominant here from start to finish. They breezed through Grimwood earlier on Mausoleum when Grimwood brought in Kid Cobra. Now Grimwood brings in Twintel to go up against the Maximum Brass. knowing full well that if Serp beats them here, Grimwood will be the first casualty of this series. Twitter with that slow-mo, that actress aura, and hopefully we'll give them a little bit more time to prepare for what onslaught Serp chooses to deliver. Immediately gets the stun and the grab combination, although Grimwood quickly knocks them right back down. That vertical bolt's coming on in. In fact, it's an all fiery loadout for Grimwood, who gets the grab well timed as we just remain on that center for the round ball. Serp choosing to keep their distance a little bit more this time around. Like the fact that they're both going for just like a solo element type. Serp rocking nothing but stun. Grim swinging nothing but flames and does hit 150 on the rush, but unfortunately doesn't really get any more than that. The knockback was just a bit too much. Serp quickly recovered, although having said that, arm weak on the left hand side, that's a bit too much pressure that they're being put under here. They've still got 45 seconds ago, but again, the Hydra runs clean through Brass. They won't mind up. They're in the critical buff state now. And Brass is always incredibly scary at this stage, but Grimwood, using the Actress Aura wisely, gets the shield up and also gets the shield up for the rush as well. Taking minimal damage, chip, and nothing more than that. Serp has 23 seconds to go. Again, the bolts are gonna be denied. And Grimwood does have a rush in the back pocket if they wish to use it, but they're gonna try and hang on to this as best they can. No, wow, look at that. A lovely trifecta, and boy howdy how quickly it changes! Serp got a freaking hat-trick of hits in, rolls on up and gets a grab, and Grimwood went from getting the point to now being a point away from being out of this series. I do not think they were expecting that in the slightest. Grimwood is going to go for the rush, but it's not going to happen this time around. Serp will just get the shield up, and that will be that. The chill does come through, but Serp immediately rushes through, and that's the perfect start for NA. They could see themselves tying this set up very quickly. Another stun into a grab combination, and Grimwood is on the cusp of critical. And this might be Grimwood going down here. A roaster hit will at least hit, but the Grimwood again caught with the grab. Pretty much anything will do it, and that is it. It's another 2-0 for Serp, and North America, despite being a player down, have tied this series up 5-5. Grimwood is out of here, 2-0. They went from almost getting that point away to losing both in a matter of seconds. And suddenly, NA will be feeling mighty comfortable with that, because that is also one of the captains out of here. Only Riffa remains, and Riffa is already down to 1 life. So it's an automatic swap no matter what happens. Now, do remember that there is a hat-trick rule in play here. If Serp does win 3 in a row, Serp has to be tagged out immediately. Serp is on 2 wins at the moment. We will see what NA choose to do. No matter what happens, Europe have to bring in someone else. There's only 1 player on the side of Europe who has 2 lives left, by my calculations. Because obviously each team has 5 players, and obviously Europe have 5 lives left now. And that is Yam. Yam is the only one with 2 lives left. Everybody else has 1, and the same goes for NA. It's an even playing field. Serp and Yam are the only 2 with 2 lives left. Everybody else has 1. We lost Pada at the very start because they didn't show, and we have lost Grimwood, who was our first actual elimination. And surprise, surprise, Serp stays in. Serp will stay in. So what will Europe do here? Will they choose to bring in somebody else who is only sitting on 1 life, or Will they bring Yam into the field? So far, anybody who has gone up against Serp has been decimated. So it's going to be very scary. It's going to be... This is going to be a hard choice to make here for Europe. And it looks like it is going to be Yam. It looks like it's going to be Yam. Ram and Ball out of the equation. Ninja College, Buster Beach, and DNA Labs are the 3 remaining stages at this point of the series. Okay. What do you reckon, chat? Is this the part where NA take the lead? Or is Serp going to make it not just 4 for 4, but 3 in a row? And bearing in mind, Europe only have 1 stage override left as well, so NA really haven't needed to use it yet. And it's getting scary. It's getting very scary here for Europe. Serp is on a roll. They are 3 for 3. They've taken Grimwood out not once but twice, and they have also bested Okrim. So what now? Serp is set and ready to go. Yam is set and ready to go. Europe on the right hand side of your screen. It is Lollapop. Serp as the maximum brass. Ninja College, very vertical stage. And here we go. Again, sticks with the double stun approach. It's been working beautifully for them so far. Yam has the Scorpio and the Hydra, but immediately gets caught by another 1-2 combination and a stun and a grab. And Serp is continuing as they mean to go on. There just seems to be no stopping this brass at the moment. Serp unfazed in the early stages, on weak on the right hand side for Yam, and again gets caught by the ever curving nature of the Ram. Finally gets a hit in, but all that'll do is just intensify the aggression from Serp's side of the field. Yam is already into critical, and Serp has rushed, set, and ready to go. A 1-2 from Yam from the underneath. Finally starting to get something into this matchup, but Serp already with such a massive lead. Yam has to use the rush to keep themselves in, otherwise that was absolutely going to be a KO. The poison is left on the Scorpio. Is going to see Serp just slow and stutter around. It does get shaken off and immediately into another Chakram hit. Was not able to get the follow-up, but anything at this stage will send Yam right down the field. And with 30 seconds left on the clock, Serp knows full well they have full control of this matchup. Yam being incredibly difficult to hit, but finally the bolts find a way. And Serp is just looking unbeatable here. Oozing confidence with every match, the Sparky will lead the way and get the first hit on the road. But Yam is going to get the heck out of there. Not quite able to find the Scorpio hit, so it does take 115 damage after all is said and done. But very quickly straight back onto the offensive, but Serp immediately shuts it down. And look again at how aggressive Serp is playing this. Another hit with the bolt, the Sparky and the Scorpio both just dinging off the shield. No matter what Yam throws, Serp has an answer, although 365 damage does at least send Serp further down the stairs, and Yam doing desperately to keep that just the high ground advantage, but to try and chip away at this ultimate form that Serp has at the moment. The Sparky is going to get denied. The punches are coming thick and fast, but that's going to be another chained combination, and Serp knows full well the end is nigh. The end is nigh, and NA for the first time today have the lead in this set. It's 5-4 now. And Serp is 4-4 in tonight's shenanigans. There is no stopping this brass. goodness me. To say that NA have the momentum right now, it's an understatement. It is... What else can you say right now? Like, I'm looking at the stats. I'm looking at the score sheets. And it's just... Is there any stopping SERP at this stage? Because what else can you say? Now, here's where the interesting part comes in. So, NA have to switch. They have to switch by default. That's just how it goes here. SERP winning 3 matches in a row. 4 overall today, let's remind you. But because of that, the rule does say that if you win 3 in a row, you have to immediately switch out. And that's exactly what is going to happen here. Now, Twinned will be coming on in to take their place. The reason why that is important right now is because we don't know what Europe's decision is going to be. Yam is still here in the lobby. So we'll soon find out if that means that Yam will stay in, since we saw Yam best twinned earlier. 2 points on Temple Ground, remember? And I should probably remind you all that with Ninja College out of the equation, that just leaves Bust the Beach and DNA Labs. So, will Yam stay on to take on Twin? Or will we have a substitute? Is Yam confident enough that they can best Twin twice? Having said that, and we just came off a match against the almighty SERP, Yam does stay. That is the decision we are going to see. So, it does mean that since Yam did not move, it means sides will switch again. So Europe will be on the left-hand side of your screen. NA will be on the right-hand side of your screen. So you'll just see that just quickly update there for you. And it is literally a coin flip between 2 stages. 2 stages that are normally on a starter stage rotation. We normally see Bust the Beach and DNA Labs quite commonly picked as starter stages. The randomizer has not given us any of those right now. So Yam is comfortable with either of those, it seems. And maybe Twin is as well. Well, we're going to find out. Lola Ditto, just as like what we saw earlier. When we saw that earlier, it was Yam who came out the victor of that ordeal by 2 points to 0. They were both evenly matched. It was one of the more closer matches we've had so far today. So I guess the question is, can Yam make it stick? Yam on the left-hand side of your screen with that Tri-Blast and the Scorpia again. The Biffler comes out and the Ice Dragon for Twin on the right-hand side. Immediately getting staggered in with that poison. It can be stacked up to 3. It's going to get quickly shaken on off. So too is the Biffler Vision Detect. And that is going to be a quick little slowdown there for both of them. Yam with the initial health lead. Again, getting knocked down by that Biffler combination. Both sides with Rush ready to go. And Yam kind of wanting Twin to come at them, but also at the same time allowing Twin to fire off the Dragon on a regular basis here. And the Dragon does excel from long range, so it's a dangerous game to really be playing going up against that. The Biffler is up and running. The Rush is going to come out from both. But in fact, not only did Yam miss the counter opportunity, Twin just circled around and took full advantage anyway. And it's Twin who is ending this first point. The better of the two here. Yam already into critical. Twin with a massive health lead. We saw how quickly that changed last time out, but Yam has it all to do, and the fact that Twin already has that range pretty much on lockdown means that Yam really has to be quite aggressive here if they want anything out of this matchup. 15 seconds left on the clock, and it looks like it's going to be too little, too late for Yam. That is pretty much going to be it. A quick little 1-2 chain gets Twin past the halfway mark. But I do not see this being anything now here. Again, another solid punch, but it's too little, too late. And NA are looking like they could go into a 2-point lead, having been 2 points down since the very start. Yam immediately tries to go for the start grab, but it is denied by Twin. Comes in with that Ice Dragon and the Biffler again. Yam sticks with the Tri-Blast and the Scorpion, but again, picked down. Twin is having none of it right now. Rush is going to come out from the pair of them, but again, Yam, why would you go for that? It wasn't going to hit. And Twin, again, gets the better of the two rush exchanges. Twin does finally get knocked back down, and Yam is not going away anytime soon, but that was not the way they wanted that rush exchange to be going, especially knowing full well if they lose one more point, it is game over for them. A good minute still to go, and again, Yam just backs all the way back down towards the Hot Pocket area of Buster Beach. Twin, again, just keeps being a bouncy nuisance. Both of these Lollipops have that ability. Yam finally gets a hit with the bolts. Can't get the rush. It's cancelled by the dragon. And that is a freeze as well, which is going to give Twin all the more impetus to go for the rush. They can't get the juggle though. Just the one hit, but again, it's enough to send Yam into critical. And they have the same health lead that they did in the previous point as well. And Yam, well, anything at this point will take them out of the equation. And NA are looking like they can go 2 points up, and they do. Twin gets revenge from losing earlier, and Europe are now 5-3 down in a series where they were 2 points up for the longest time. It is looking incredibly dire now for Europe. They've lost Grimwood, and now they've lost Yam. And just like that, it can all change. NA are picking up some hell of a momentum here. And you gotta feel for Yam. Losing back-to-back matches. You hate to see it happen, but that is just sometimes how it goes. And well, with that, it's a 2-point lead. And obviously, NA make the first decision anyway, and, well, there's still one person left in here anyway, so we know full well that it'll be NA who will be starting on the left-hand side of your screen. They'll be going up against a European player in just a moment. We'll just get that switched around for you. There you go. And it is going to be the main captain, the Revolutionary Riffer, who will be stepping on in. And again, everyone on the Europe only has one life left. It is... Wait, almost. They almost read it on in before I could switch that. It is DNA Lab, which is the only stage that's left. Twin with the Lola, Riffer with the Masango. If Riffer goes out here, it may be done and dusted, but it's only a matter of time. So, DNA Lab, one of the biggest stages in this game with the 6 big old tubes as well. Lola comes in with the Biffler and the Ice Dragon, immediately gets caught by the Coolerang though of Riffer, who is coming in with that Cracker as well, the fiery version of that lightweight Popper Arm. And is immediately going to wake up straight into a Biffler, make that another Biffler hit. Twin is suddenly finding a hell of a roll here. And the Yellow Mask is going to be up for Riffer now. But can they actually do anything about this? Another back-to-back hit involving that Riffler. Riffer's going to get more and more annoyed as this match goes on. It's looking dire here for Europe, and Riffer is going to be a point down as well. Twin just comboing up, move after move after move, and it's just... Goodness gracious me. I don't think Riffer realized what just hit him. Siki is going to come up alongside that Cracker as Twin sticks with the Biffler and the Dragon, utilizing the range beautifully. And the Biffler just keeps hitting Riffer. It's almost like they just let it happen. I know that's not the case, but it's just every single time the Biffler seems to go out, it's hitting Riffer square in the face. And the Siki does catch the miss up, but crucially, Twin does stop the rest of it from going through, so it's only 180 damage. With that rush, it's not what you want to see. Another rush is now going to come out from Twin's side of the field, 345. And Riffer is looking like they're going to be going out right here and now, because Twin has so much health on their side. Riffer is on the cusp of critical, red mask on, so it's going to be all big time damage and some unflinching nerves, but they're into critical as the chill of that Dragon robs them of their abilities. One more hit will pretty much do it. Has to rush through it, does catch the damage, but doesn't get the second juggle. And that is that. Riffer is also out. The main captain of the team is out of here. And it's casualty after casualty now for Europe as America find themselves 5-2 up in this series. This is unprecedented what we are seeing right here. To think right at the start, Europe were 3 points up. They were leading 10-7. With a player advantage in everything. But Europe have not won a match since Iceman beat Griffical. We've had Serp win 3 times and we've had Twin win twice. This is alarming for Europe right now. Europe only has Iceman with 1 life. And I think the other one is Aquin with 1 life. This is do or die here for Europe. They are absolutely staring down the barrel because, well, so far it's 5 wins in a row for NA. Like, what else can you say? It is going to be a substitute. Twin does not want to try and go for the hat trick that Serp had just a moment ago. They are going to sub out. They're going to bring in Moonbeat. And the stages will now officially be reset. So we are bringing the stage list back to normality. So, Spring Stadium, Ribbon Ring, Ninja College, Mausoleum, Ramen Ball, Scrapyard, Buster Beach, DNA Lab, Sky Arena, Viadolts, and Temple Grounds are all back on the randomizer because they have all been played once today now. So, it is a fresh slate. But for Europe, well, they are in a very difficult situation here. NA have 5 lives, Europe only have the 2. 1 for an Iceman and 1 for Arkrim. Moonbeat has 1 life left on NA's side of the field. So too does Griffical. and so too does Twind. But most importantly, Serp has 2 lives, both lives intact. So really, for Europe, it is literally a case of who do you send in at this stage? Do you send in Iceman? Or do you send in Okrim? The answer is going to be Okrim. Okrim will be making their appearance. Their last life. And I should probably point out to all of you wonderful people, whilst we wait for Okrim to come on in, you saw that right. Not only do we have the European Arms Challenge Cup coming on up tomorrow, we've got the Vortex Gallery as well. A massive, massive lineup of so many gaming tournaments. You can see just a sample of them on there. BlazBlue is on there, Mahong Seal is on there, Puyo Puyo Champions is even making an appearance. But right at the forefront, you've got ARMS at a major tournament showing in September 2021. I do believe the European one will be on the 11th. Massive, massive news and massive shout outs to Vortex Gallery. I cannot thank them enough for choosing to have us involved in these shenanigans. I hope you all look forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. NA has a bracket as well, and if they fight anywhere like this, then it should be a very fun bracket indeed. Moonbeat on the left hand side of your screen representing NA, coming in with the Power Soul and the Chiller, who's immediately going to get punched straight away by Brass, who tries to go for the grab but is going to be caught in the Actrosaur. Moonbeat not going to allow them any time to take advantage of that. Double nades for Okrim, but again, massive explosion damage traded out for that unguided goodness. It's a learning curve, but once you know how to use them, boy howdy, they can do so much for you. Moonbeat with the Power Soul though, able to send Brass into the air, and the Chiller does rob them of that big old bulky ability as well, so you'll definitely see a kind of strategic play from Moonbeat. Rush will come out, chip damage, nothing more than that though for Okrim. Still has the health lead for now, but Moonbeat does have Rush, and if they can get themselves another juggle, or even go for that, which Brass unfortunately bounced right on into the springs. It's dangerous to go there when your opponent has the Rush, and Okrim finds themselves in critical. They are in that big old bulked up state, and they will get themselves big time damage with that grab as well, bouncing them off the outskirts. And this is what Moonbeat has to be careful of. Does get the Power Soul hit. They're just lucky to try and outlast Okrim at this stage, who's going to come on all guns swinging. Finally does find the nade hit, sends Moonbeat into critical and gets the grab. Gets a big time grab, and well, I mean, odd decision for Okrim to go for the rush. They really didn't need to waste the rush like that. Keep the rush advantage for the next point, my friend, especially since you have just gifted that to Moonbeat. But a point is a point. It won't mean anything as long as Brass can seal the deal and bring Europe back into this. Moonbeat will get caught by another nade. But 2 nades again for Okrim, going up against that Power Soul and the Chiller. Neither player wanting to switch up anything. And it's going to be so dangerous, but the Power Soul does come out, and Moonbeat will immediately go in with that rush. I did say it was going to be a disadvantage for Okrim, and already at the halfway mark. And Moonbeat knows they can take this very patiently now. They know they have to just wear Okrim down, but Okrim is not going to be in the mood to let this go on any further. They are going to come in with the rush, but again, it's chip damage and nothing more than that. Puts pressure on both arms, though. If they can force a break, it will be advantageous to them. And look at how much they are absolutely after that. They're both starting to fade away, but for every shield that it does hit, it keeps the exclamation marks up, and Okrim trying to force that, does get the break on the right hand side. Arm weak still on the left, but the rush will come out, sends Okrim into critical, 335 damage. Okrim does have a rush as well, still keeps that arm weak, would you believe it? They could go for the rush and force a break that way, but no, it looks like the mark has finally gone. The nade actually pushed Twintel forward, and Okrim has to be careful not to get taken out here, but they do! The parasol hits them as they drop the shield in the last possible second. Well, Okrim cannot afford to lose it at this point. A loss here would mean that it's all on Iceman. And that is a lot of pressure when you're 4 lives down. Rush will come out, but again, Moonbeat says no. It's blocked again. And it's just more chip damage as Moonbeat brings in the Tri-Blast. Switching out that Parasol. Arm Weak on the left-hand side immediately sidesteps into a big old explosion on Okrim. And it's getting more and more accurate as this point seems to be going on. Moonbeat trying their best to try and dummy the brass out, but the Rush will come out. Beautifully done. Adds it all up to 310, but doesn't get the finishing touch. They don't get the knockback. Unfortunate for them there as Okrim now readies themselves up with a rush of their own. Moonbeat doing their best to shield, but the grab will come out and Rush will come as well. Big time juggle effect. 290. Make that extra sweet little 20. Tries to go for the grab. Doesn't get it. Tries it for the second time. Doesn't get it. Tries it for the third time. Still no dice. Has to go for the explosion. To literally anything will end it for Okrim right here and now. Arm Weak on the left hand side. Moonbeat has Rush. This is KO range and they are going to go for it. But it's chip damage and nothing more. And Nade immediately came out of that. That was blink and you miss it. Okrim just immediately, the second the Rush ended, the nade right in Moonbeat's face. And that breaks that string of losses instantly. Okrim gives Europe a little glimmer of hope. It is now 4-2 and Moonbeat is out of here. That was dangerous. Of that there was no doubt. It looked like Okrim might rue that rush at the end of that first point, but they came back nicely. They took that third point in the end. It was quite the risk, but they nailed it. And that is the most important part there. So, from Europe's perspective, they still have a chance. But we know NA. NA will likely just throw Serp into the ring and just try to finish this off right here and now. Especially since we already know that Serp took out Okrim earlier to set up that 3-win streak. So, you just get this feeling that they will likely do the same thing here. They will just bring Serp in to finish things up. And if that is indeed the case, then, well, there is no more margin for error for Europe here. Okrim only has 1 life, so too does Iceman. So it's a dangerous position to be in. Okrim will choose to stay in, which is fair. So who will NA be sending in? NA have 4 lives left. Griffical has 1. Twint has 1. And Serp has 2. So it is 3 players versus 2. With 2 lives in hand for NA. And it will be Griffical who will make the appearance here. And we'll see how that plays out for them. We saw Griffical and Riffa go against each other earlier today, with Riffa being taken on down. I was going to say that was our only 2-1 match, but we had just had ourselves our second one just then between Okrim and Moonbeat. Remember that Griffical lost to Iceman right after beating Riffa, so Griffical will know that by beating Okrim, they set themselves up for the chance to get their own back against Iceman if that ends up being the case. And we are going, unbelievably, to have a stage pick come out. NA have 2 lives advantage. Sorry, I'm just jumping on in because I wanted to have a look-see. But it looks like Griffical... Griffical is wanting to use one of their 2 stage picks, and it is going to be Temple Grounds. Europe already used one of theirs earlier, and now it is NA's turn to use one of theirs. Both sides will now only have 1 left, but crucially, NA have a player advantage. Well, they have not only a player advantage, but they have 2 life advantage as well. So, really, it just feels like they're going to try and rub this in even further. Akram on the left-hand side of your screen. Brass, double toaster. They're going to need that extra fire elemental power to try and stand any chance against their very heavyweight Master Mummy, who brings in a toaster of their own. And the whammer. That good old squeaky hammer. Does that little flick when it drops on down. It also has that stun ability at its disposal. And, well, Akram going to use the 4 pillars of the temple to their advantage. They're going to need every little bit of it. Again, Master Mummy's ability does allow them to heal on up whilst that shield is up. You just see another quick little 1-2 combination from Griffical. Can't quite get the final hammer blow there, but gets the slam dunk. Takes the pillar down in the process, 205. Sweet old damage, putting that pressure onto Akram, who is starting to fall on behind against this slow, methodical powerhouse that is Master Mummy. Both players with rush set and ready to go, but... well, for Akram, you don't feel like that rush will be coming anytime soon, because Griffical is just all over them. Another grab, gonna miss this time round. 40 seconds on the clock. Akram already into critical in that big old buffed up state. Full well, they've got to land literally anything here to have a chance to get Griffical in here. The saving grace here is that because this permabuff state does give them access to both fire power all of the time, it means hitting anything will send Griffical straight down onto the floor. But that hammer is going to find its way through, and Akram is just a point away from being out of this series. The popper now comes up for Griffical, so Griffical is going to ditch the fiery glove. They're just going to go straight in for quick fire windy goodness, but the rush from Akram will come out super early. 290 damage. We saw this happen earlier when they did this with Serp. Griffical is going to see if they can do exactly what Serp did and bring this back. The rush was just a little too late this time round, but Akram still pinned in that corner. Big time grab. Just does so much damage. Brass will get one of his own. 170, still big, but not as big as Master Mummy's. Another fiery glove finds its way through, and Akram is getting very aggressive here. Gets the buffed up state, but the hammer just keeps wailing on down, and Akram, well, Griffical going to play the long game now, going up front range, and Akram is just wanting Griffical to approach, but Griffical says, well, I don't need to approach you, I can just sit back here and just heal on up and make your life a literal living hell. The pop-up finds its way through, sends Akram even further back, and one more hit from anything will do it. And that is the slam dunk that Griffical was looking for. And just like that, it's 4-1 to Renee, and they are on series point, as it is just Iceman left to take care of. Well, we had a feeling this kind of thing would be coming, and that's exactly what it is now down to. It is all up to Iceman. This could be the final side flip we do today. It might not. We'll soon find out. Because whatever happens, all that's left is ice. Can NA shatter the ice and pick up 2 weekly wins in a row, or is Iceman going to coolly slide in and steal it right from under their grasp? Well, that remains to be seen. But it's a mountain to climb. They are gonna have to beat 3 different players, one of which has 2 opportunities at this. And Grifficle will be staying on. So, all of the stages will be back on except for Spring and Temple Grounds. So let's get this lined up for you. So Ribbon Ring is back on the equation, so too is Ninja College, Mausoleum, Ramen Ball, Scrapyard, Buster Beach, DNA Lab, Sky Arena, and Via Doll. Spring Stadium and Temple Grounds will not be involved. So Iceman has to go through 4 lives. Easy. Well, we say easy, but when you're going up against top level players, especially on the NA side of things, where you've got Grifficle, you've got Sup, and you've also got Twinned in the back as well, it's gonna be a very hard mountain to climb here. And with Riffa out of the equation as well, Iceman has no further support. And by the way, because Iceman is at this stage with just the 1 life left, they kind of have to use their last second stage pick now, essentially. So, it looks like that is indeed gonna be the case, and well, it is gonna be Ribbon Ring that comes on up immediately then. And for Europe, well, this is it. Iceman is Europe's last stand. Iceman was able to best Grifficle earlier on this very stage by 2 points to 0. Can they do it again? Well, we are going to find out as NA have plenty of chances to try and wrap this up now. The big old non-elemental glove comes up again for Grifficle as they go up against the Siki and the Toaster, and the Siki immediately gets a big time shock explosion, which gives Iceman a grab start and keeps their health lead quite nicely high up, although Master Mummy can quickly switch that back down, especially at a grab's notice. We know that 200 damage is just incredibly scary to be rolling on into, but that is another big time shock explosion, and Iceman gets themselves another grab, halving Grifficle's health. Just like that, they are going to get knocked themselves down. Rush on both sides set and ready to go, and the blocks start to build on up. Let's get themselves their little extra things to work around. Arm weak on the right hand side for Griff, but it's going to slowly fade away this time around. Those big old gloves finally keeping Iceman somewhat at bay, and does get themselves a knockdown. 40 seconds left on the clock, still anyone's game here. Again, another quick little hit. Iceman cannot afford to be dropping on into those gloves too much. Another big old heavy hits and block there, and Grifficle, realizing they can start closing this on, gets the shield up to heal themselves just that little bit more, and Iceman is just looking for any kind of charge. They both go for the rush, both trade it, but Grivical, crucially, has the health lead with 10 seconds left on the clock. That's the last thing that Iceman needed, and that is Iceman in critical. And this looks like it's going to be NA getting a KO, and they are 1 point away from winning this series by 4 points to 0. Iceman's rush was met at the same time as Grivical and just outright traded. And Grivical is looking to get revenge for that earlier stint. And can they do it? Grab, well predicted from Iceman, catching Grivical just as they go for the side dash. And a big time cancel out as well means Iceman gets sent to the corner. Blocks will be starting to raise up in just a moment or two, and you can see them getting ready. Up they go, forcing the self-destruct on the missile. That's a free grab for Grivical and a knockdown on top of things as well. Grivical goes for the rush and gets it. Grivical is now just getting so much momentum here as Iceman finds themselves in critical. Pretty much anything now from Griff will pretty much KO Iceman, and I think they know that. Shield is going to come up, but it's going to be nothing with that rush. Gets themselves at least 200. Baits out Grivical's little approach. But again, it's the 1-2 combo that seals the deal. And there was nothing Europe could do. It's 4 lives to 0. And NA are gonna win 2 back-to-back weeks of the Territorial League. A mountain too high for Europe to climb. Europe will take out both Japan and they will take out Europe. And there really doesn't seem to be any stopping them here. It really doesn't. It is going to be Team A that takes the win. It's North America's victory. Twin 5, Pada, Grifical, Serp, and Moonbeat. Pada no-showed, so they started with 2 lives down, but it didn't matter. No Pada, no problem for Team North America, who win this week by 4 lives to 0. 1 life remaining for Twin 5, 1 life remaining for Grifical, 2 lives intact for Serp. Serp did not drop a single match today. Best in Grimwood, not once, but twice, and then taking Okrim and Yam out of the equation as well, which really just set up that wonderful string of victories that NA had. And commiserations to Team Europe. They did try their best, but that is going to be that. It's NA's for the taking, and with that, they are fully booked in to the grand finals when that comes around. So, that is that. Commiserations to Team Europe. They are going to have to go again, because now it means that next week is really going to have some massive say on how the final is going to shape up, because, well, with NA beating Japan and Europe, it means that Japan and Europe are literally playing for a spot in the finals. Will it be Europe or will it be Japan? In either way, one of those 2 teams are going to want to take their revenge. And you gotta feel for Europe at this point, because they had the player advantage. They had 2 lives as an advantage, and unfortunately still not able to capitalize on that. That is how powerful, how dominant NA are at this time of asking. So Europe are going to bring their A game when they go up against Japan when we return for our next series of the Territorial League. Next one will be the 31st, which is where we will do our final match between Japan and Europe for the ticket to the finale. And do remember that we have 2 other massive projects ahead of you as well. So let's do this in order, shall we? After this is all said and done, after the Territorial League has been wrapped up, both with our next matchup and then the finale, September 2021, ARMS will be featuring in the Vortex Gallery, a massive esport tournament organization running over 41 different tournaments. You can see a few little examples in there in the midst of it all. Puyo Puyo Champions are on there. BlazBlue naturally is going to be on there. King of Fighters, Guilty Gear, you name it. There's probably a game in there. Heck, I did see Twinkle Star in there as well, which is just very weird to see that make an appearance as well. But yeah, you name it, it's on there. But most importantly, ARMS is on there. ARMS will actually be at a major gaming event. How surreal does that sound saying that? It's going to be spicy. There will be an EU bracket, an NA bracket, and a Japanese bracket as well. So expect to see some of the best ARMS players from around the world taking part in that in September. I think the European one will be on the 11th of September. I do not know when the other dates for the other two are, but we will give you more information when we get that. Keep an eye on our social media as well for more information on that. On top of which, tomorrow, you're going to see some of the people from this series today possibly taking part in the EU ARMS Challenge Cup tomorrow at 3 p.m. CEST. That's 2 p.m. BST for those of you who are with me in the United Kingdom. That'll be over at twitch.tv/EU_ARMS. All part of a competitive season, which has its own invitational at the end of it all. This is the second week of the summer season, so expect a lot of shenanigans, a lot of fun to happen with that, and yours truly should be there, hosting and casting just like I have done today. With that being said, I would like to thank you all so much for joining on in, wherever you are, whether you're watching this live with us, or whether you're watching this on catch-up. Can't thank you all enough. Massive shout-outs to all of the players involved. Shout-outs to you for choosing to watch this. Hope you leave a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel here. And a massive shout-out to all of the organisers behind the scenes as well. Matthias and Hibarite have been amazing from start to finish, keeping everything running as smoothly as possible and giving me the chance to cast with you live here today. If you'd like to follow what I do, at TK_Layla on pretty much all social media, including Twitter and Twitch. And like I said, I'll be casting tomorrow over at EU_ARMS for the Challenge Cup. So, thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed. Take good care of yourselves. And please remember the three very important things. That trans rights are human rights. That black lives do indeed matter. And to make sure you keep your drinks nice and topped up so that we may stay fighting fit and fighting fresh for as long as physically possible. Goodbye, my friends.